to the morning show. We're coming to you today on WJOPLP Newburyport at FM 96.3 on Channel 9, and we'll be available later on our YouTube channel at ncmhub.org. I'm your host, Mary Jacobsen, and today I'm just delighted to welcome Tarah Luciano and Holly Cashman here. They're both co-chairs of Pride 2025. So Tarah and Holly, first of all, welcome to the morning show, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here and talk about this year's Pride.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. Yeah, and we should shout out our third co-chair, yes, Mary Lovely, who is not able to be here today.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Shout out to Mary Lovely as well. Well, I wanted to start by asking you both. I know that you've both been involved with organizing Pride events this year and in past years, and it takes a lot of time and energy. It's a whole weekend of all different kinds of activities and a parade, for heaven's sake.
Just a parade.
So, no big deal. I wanted to ask you, what keeps each of you motivated and inspired to make Pride Festival happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Holly has been a part of Pride as long as I have. So we've kind of grown with Pride kind of together and with Pride as well. I think the hard part about staying motivated right now is just kind of everything that's going on in the climate. Yeah. This year obviously there's a lot of changes that are impacting the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah. But in a way, that in and of itself is the motivation to bring Pride to Newburyport, right? Yeah. We're looking to make sure that we're creating those safe spaces. And I'm constantly inspired by the LGBTQ youth that I get to work with. They really keep me going because I remind myself that it's for them, right? It's to show them that their community is here. It's for them to grow into a community that they feel safe and welcomed and accepted in.
Well put, Tarah. Absolutely. How about you, Holly?
Yeah, just to kind of echo what Tarah said, for me it's also about kind of the message that we're sending to the youth. I grew up in a time and a place where there were no role models. Yeah. There were no LGBTQ plus adults that I could look up to. So when I was starting to question my gender and sexuality, I didn't have this community, this vision of a possible adulthood, which is terrifying and which was really lonely, really made you question whether you should exist at all. And so for the kids who are out there today to have a model, like just basically to be the adult that I would have loved to have as a kid, and to see the community support that's just embraced Newburyport Pride, it's amazing for me as an adult, but for the kids growing up in the community, I think it's even more important.
And it is an intergenerational and community-wide event, which is one of its strengths. But the messages that are sent about just that everybody is part of our shared community. Yeah. Everybody has dignity. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves to feel included as an integral part of our community. That's very powerful, and that's what Pride is all about, isn't it? So. Well, thank you both for that. You know, last year's event was extremely successful and well received, and we were just talking about thank you weather gods.
Yes.
Weather gods and goddesses, we're hoping for a repeat this year, right?
Yes.
So what are your hopes and expectations for this year's Pride Festival?
So this is like such a tough one because I think our hope every year is just that like everything goes off without a hitch.
That's the basics.
That's the basics. That's the basics.
We build from there.
My expectation is that it will do that.
I'm hoping to not get COVID this year and be home and miss the whole thing, which is what happened last year.
Oh, Holly, I'm so sorry.
I think when I kind of think about my hopes for this year, we're really, really lucky that we are experiencing kind of, we call it the Newburyport bubble. And a lot of other prides in surrounding areas, they have had a lot of step back in the progress that they've made in their communities. Whereas in Newburyport, we're seeing the reverse effect. We've had so many folks step up to join us, and we're really lucky to have gotten a great group of sponsors this year to support our work, which has allowed us to kind of increase our hopes, right? So I guess really our hope is that people are going to turn out to things, because I think we put together a really great set of events for the weekend. We've put a lot of work into it, and I'm excited to get with everybody and kind of share it and share the energy and the vibe.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some of the things people have to look forward to. First of all, the calendar. It's going to run from Thursday, May 29th to Sunday, June 1st this year. And tell us about the kickoff party on the 29th. What's up with that?
Yeah. Do you want to?
So yeah, we're at Sunset Club again this year, which is where we've had our kickoff every year, and proceeds from the event are going to one of the 4 charities that we're supporting with the help of our sponsors.
Wonderful.
And
Business
business
partners,
partners. And so we're going to have the Queen of Pride, Madam Zappel, returning again this year, and she'll be hosting the kickoff event at Sunset. Starts at 4 p.m. Along with a fabulous drag queen named Shakarin, and
Shakarin.
an amazing DJ Bossy Boots. There will be food, there will be cocktails. Everyone knows the best staff in town out at the Sunset. And so it's just a really fun kind of community moment where people are excited, they're hopefully enjoying good weather.
Fingers crossed on that.
And kind of checking in about, the upcoming festivities.
Wonderful. Sounds like great fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. I think my favorite part about that event is because it's the first one, like we really have that dedicated kickoff space because it's everybody who's so excited coming together, and there's always such an electric energy that first night because the anticipation of all of the events for the weekend, like everyone's just super excited, super grateful to be there, and the vibe is always immaculate out there.
So it sets a tone.
Yes, it's,
Of
exactly.
excitement
Yeah, it sets
and
a tone.
anticipation.
Absolutely.
It does.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I think the next event will be the traditional flag raising ceremony at City Hall on Friday the 30th. And we have a picture of the flag. Maybe if you could cue up that photo while we talk about it. So tell us about the flag raising and any news on the speakers.
So I am so excited to bring the flag raising back. This is honestly one of my favorite events of the whole kind of year. We've been really lucky to have some really big names come and speak with us in the past. And this year I did put out feelers to a few folks that were bigger names. And unfortunately, due to time constraints or previous commitments, they weren't able to make it. So it got me rethinking a little bit. What are the things I love about the flag raising? What does the flag raising mean to the community? And this year I'm actually looking for a community member to make an impact statement instead. So they would come up and speak at the flag raising about the role that Newburyport Pride has played in their lives, how that has impacted them personally, and kind of what their story is. Because I think really the big names can be really flashy and really powerful speakers and really influential folks. But at the end of the day, we really do this work for the people that are here in Newburyport who are impacted just by seeing their representation. And so I'm really hopeful that we can find somebody. If anybody's interested, if anybody's listening to this and you feel strongly about Newburyport Pride and you're interested in making an impact statement, please reach out to me at president@newburyportpride.com.
Okay, excellent. President@newburyportpride.com.
And we know the Newburyport community is going to show up even without a big name.
Yes.
They did in April at the Trans Day Visibility flag raising. We were blown away because I think it is about the community.
Yep.
And a big name speaker is fantastic. And I think Governor Healy really got us off to a great start in year
I
one.
started at the top. Like, how could I top it? I had Maura Healy the first year, and ever since I've been like, where do I go from here?
Well, just you learn, you live and learn.
Yes.
And now an important event will be the Youth Pride event. And you were just talking about the importance of, intergenerational connections. So tell us about Youth Pride event, which will be next door at the Senior Center, I think, on the 30th.
Yeah.
What makes this important, and what can people expect?
Yeah, so our Youth Pride event is really what started Newburyport Pride. If we look back to that first Over the Rainbow dance we did in 2021, 22. I think what is really cool about Youth Pride for me is it's an opportunity for us to connect our young people with their culture. They, unfortunately, we don't get taught Queer 101 in high school. We don't get connected with our queer community often until we're adults. And so being able to bring that community to our young people is something I'm really passionate about. And I think Holly touched on, a really powerful phrase that we use within the youth work community, which is at the end of the day, just be the adult you needed. And and really that's my goal, is to try to create space for our young people that will fulfill the need that we didn't have filled as young people. So we're going to have food. We're going to have a great soda bar. We have a great DJ coming. We're going to have a ton of activities. One thing I'm really excited about is I actually got feedback from the young people on what they wanted as like a collaborative art project, and they're wanting to make a paper chain with like affirmations written on it that they'll carry in the parade the next day. So we're gonna have this beautiful paper chain of affirmations, hopefully in the really nice weather on Saturday.
It's our theme.
Yeah. So this year the event is open to grades 7 to 12, and it can be young people from anywhere. They don't have to be from Newburyport. So yeah.
Excellent. That sounds like a terrific event. Yeah, absolutely, and so important. Well, and then that takes us to Saturday, which is the day of the parade itself. And it's going to start with the blessing of the parade at St. Paul's. And Maeve, I think we have a picture of Father Jared leading the parade. If you could show that while we talk. And we have some other photos of last year's parade that Maeve will show while we talk about this year's parade. So tell us a little bit about the blessing and then the parade itself.
I'm going to let Holly.
It was really amazing last year when Father Jared reached out about having the blessing because of where the church is located vis-a-vis the lineup for the parade.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they had their pride flag or pride banner vandalized last year.
I remember that,
and were able to have it repaired and flying in time for the pride parade. And so when they reached out and asked us if we'd be interested in that, I think for so many queer folks, religion and spirituality is a huge part of our lives, but it's also something that because of our upbringing, we've maybe been distanced from or don't feel welcome. And so one of the things that's been an amazing part for me in Newburyport Pride is how many of the local religious groups and churches have stepped up to want to be a part of it. So that includes the blessing that's before the Pride Parade. It includes the welcoming service at the Unitarian Church on Sunday. And it also includes Central Congregational right there on Brown Square, who steps up to provide the excellent restrooms along with FRS.
You can't have a parade without them.
Yes.
Certainly not.
And FRS UU has gender inclusive restrooms, which we're adding this year. So it's just for people for whom that's an important part of their life. It is a really, I think, great thing for them to be able to do prior to the kickoff of the parade, just to kind of have that moment of like centering and connection and feeling that message of your human worth and dignity and that spiritual
such a powerful
connection.
way to put it.
Right, yes, right. And that there is a spiritual connection there for you.
Yeah.
So that sounds very powerful and very important. Yeah. And then, noon to 1 o'clock, from Bartlett Mall, wending its way. Well, you tell us about the trail, who can march, how many organizations are signed up. Give us the scoop.
Yeah, so we have, I think bigger and better each year is how the parade has been. I believe the estimate is about 700 participants. Maybe close to 50 organizations.
That's great.
A couple of the favorites from last year. Well, to go on to the kind of less serious side about religion, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who were a huge hit last year, the New England Pride Color Guard, the fabulously colorful Mrs. Massachusetts Pride,
the Pride outfit,
yes. Which was donated to us. If I'm not mistaken, will be worn with its original owner this year. Bands, social groups, political groups, local politicians, like basically a cross-section.
Anyone and everyone.
Yeah, a cross-section of the whole community. The registration deadline has passed, but we're,
if someone's interested,
willing to be flexible.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our Pride chair, Paul Goldberg. He really does the work all year to really bring this parade together, and it's a lot of work to bring this together. And I also want to shout out a new team member of ours this year, Jonathan Tedford, who has been working really closely with him as a parade co-chair for the first time, which is really exciting. And having Jonathan on board and the whole group of volunteers that they've brought together is really fantastic.
Shout out to Paul and Jonathan for sure. Yeah, isn't it something to love about Newburyport that the place to be is the Pride Festival?
Yes. Absolutely.
You gotta love Newburyport.
Absolutely.
One thing we're really encouraging this year as well, so because our first year we marched down Green Street from, and we're still marching down Green Street, that's where the parade kicks off. But just like last year, we're turning right onto Water Street, right at Market Square, right at Pleasant, and back to Brown Square. If the area where you first go to watch the parade seems really crowded, go somewhere else along the route, just so people have like a consistent, you know, maybe we're encouraging folks this year, especially who need a more accessible location, because a lot of the parade route has cars parked along the edge, so if you're in a wheelchair, for example, there might not be that visibility, but we're encouraging people to consider the Bullnose in Market Square as a good viewing spot, or across the street from that at in front of the businesses there, like Sea Level and Firehouse, to be able to have a good viewing line where no cars are parked.
Yeah.
And then up State Street, which by then people might be getting tired, they're going a little bit uphill. Go there and cheer them on. And we have special, so this year we will have special folks on State Street to be cheering people on, I think located at Paddle Inn.
Located at Paddle Inn, yes.
There will be at least 2 drag queens who are there to rally the crowd, get people excited, and cheer on marchers.
And take photos with people. So if you're
selfie
waiting, let's say you come a little early and you're waiting, go vibe with the amazing queens at Paddle. You can take photos with them, get your Instagram moment, and you'll be in the perfect location to see the parade come up.
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
And it's hashtag NBPT Pride for all of your selfies.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see all the pictures of everybody over there.
And then after the parade is over, of course, there's the festival from 1 to 4 p.m. And so it was at Brown Square last year and will be again, but tell us, you have an announcement to make, I think, about it's gotten so big that you finished that sentence.
This is where I'm going to shout out Holly Cashman, our festival chair, who does all of the work to make this festival happen, along with our great crew, Dixie Patterson, Nancy Bodwell, and Kim Hutchins. Yeah. So rock stars.
I've had an amazing group to work with this year. And so, year 2, we have already outgrown Brown Square. We had more demand than we could accommodate with just that space, and thankful to partners who own have a privately owned lot, kind of catty corner to Brown Square next to Changing Tides. We are going to have a second Pride Festival area. So because of our theme, we're calling Brown Square Existence, and we're calling the second location Resistance. So we're highlighting those 2 areas.
It seems like an appropriate time, your theme, which is Existence is Resistance, and you and Tarah both have these lovely T-shirts that are advertising your theme.
This is our exclusive.
Is Resistance, Newburyport Pride, and I assume those will be on sale as well.
They will be on sale at our Pride merch booth, and they were designed by one of the members of the festival committee, Dixie Patterson, who is a Newburyport local, and
she's been the co-facilitator of our Nagley North group since 2022. She has very little free time, and she spends that free time with our young people, and it has been fantastic to watch her kind of connection with both herself and her community grow through her time with Nagley North, and I just feel so lucky to have been able to work on that project with her over the years.
And she just drew this up, just doodling, just kind of
trying
stress
to cope
relief.
trying to cope with everything going on in the world right now.
And we love the connection of the anchor as kind of a nautical Newburyport touch, but also it has a deeper meaning. The symbolism of the anchor as connected with our theme, Existence is Resistance, kind of the grounding, rooting, and resisting of that an anchor would do for a boat. So it has a double meaning.
This is the first year we've picked a theme, and I think current events kind of caused us to look in that direction of some kind of overarching message that we wanted to carry throughout Pride. And it's something Holly and I have wanted to do for a few years now, so I'm excited to see it happen. I really think the selection of existence is resistance. It's a very powerful phrase, but at the end of the day, it's really just about your existence being an act of resistance in and of itself, right?
Absolutely.
So when oppressors when there are oppressive things going on, when there are targets happening all across the country, and you're feeling like there's nothing that you can do, just remember that living as your most authentic self and existing in that is an act of resistance in and of itself.
Yeah, and an expression of freedom.
Yes, yeah.
And we're all free, to be ourselves, and we all have our voices we can use, and we can wear T-shirts.
Absolutely. And the T-shirts the first spot they'll be available at is Spring Fest on Saturday down at Waterfront Park.
Yeah. Excellent, great, yeah.
And at the festival, we have some returning vendors, we have new vendors, returning and new nonprofits, and also our sponsors. One of the exciting things we have this year is what's called Queen's Corner. And so Madam Zappel, who will be riding in a fabulous red convertible. I should know what kind of car it is,
It's like
but I
an
don't know
antique car from
cars.
the 70s.
There's
It looks really cool.
There's an LGBTQ plus car club, vintage car club called Lambda Car Club, and so they are letting us use. Well, I think they're driving this car, and she will park that at the corner of Green and Pleasant, and her booth in the festival will be right there on that corner. And so again, selfies with her, with the car, with everyone.
With her and the car.
Yeah.
And also her great merch too. Like, can we just shout out Madam Zappel's merch is so cute. I love all of it.
And then we'll have our Pride booth next to hers, and then we'll have a Pride photo booth with our backdrop and props. And so that will be between the memorial, which will be stanchioned off, and people are encouraged not to trespass over that section, but between the memorial and Green Street will be kind of that hot corner of Newburyport Pride and the Queen's Corner. And then over the rest of Brown Square, the far end will be the teen and kids area.
Wonderful.
There'll be karate demonstrations from the dojo. There'll be bubbles with Kathleen Shaw. There'll be
Free
face painting, henna, glitter.
Balloon animals.
Amazing.
Yard games. Oh, and we had a wonderful member of the community. I'm actually not going to shout her name out because I don't know what her comfort is with it. I should have thought of that in advance. But she's taken on what was incredibly popular last year, our free closet for queer and teen youth to access gender-affirming clothing. She has been collecting donations to the point where she has, of her own volition, rented a storage unit for organizing them. She has gotten clothing racks. She even has people she's connected with in Portland, Oregon, who are shipping clothing here for this. So the closet's going to be stellar this year. She's made sure to get in touch with all of the teens that she has access to and can connect with to find out what it is they really want. And so I'm really, really excited to see how she puts that together this year.
Oh, yeah, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
And a great service to provide
Yeah.
people. Absolutely. Well, wow, okay. We're not done with the weekend yet.
We're still on Saturday.
Are we ever?
But then you mentioned earlier on Sunday there will be a welcoming service at the FRSU church. And it has a theme. And the theme is, I love this, born naked and everything else is drag. It kind of sums things up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I'm obsessed with that theme.
And credit where credit is due, I believe that's a RuPaul quote. But
Oh, you're right. I actually think it is. I was like, where did I hear this
Which,
before?
it kind of had to be.
Yes.
But one of the things I love about it is it really highlights the idea that gender is something we all perform in our daily lives, and maybe drag is taking it to an extreme, but gender is something we all perform in our daily lives, and just to be more aware of that. But we are having the theme of drag, and we have a fabulous drag queen from P-Town, a woman named Carlos, who is actually a collaborator with the musical director at FRS, Nick Place, and so they'll be doing a few numbers during the service, and a woman named Carlos will also be doing a kind of reflection about their experiences in drag and what it means to them, and I'm doing a little reflection on the history of drag and how
Oh.
the current kind of moral crisis around drag connects with stereotyping of LGBTQ folks as
Yeah.
predators that has gone on throughout
Yeah.
history. And then Reverend Rebecca from FRS will be kind of bringing this all together and talk about kind of the spiritual connection and how it relates to Unitarianism, but also being an ally. So that's the plan for the service.
Oh, that sounds really fabulous.
This is the first time in probably a decade that I'm going to attend a service
Oh my God, I didn't know you're going.
Yes, because I'm so excited. And, you know, I always describe myself as a spiritual person, not a religious person. But I think that even for those of us who don't engage necessarily in organized religion, this is going to be such a great opportunity to learn more and really get some information that will allow us to, or rather equip us to manage the conversations that are going on today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
So, well, it's not over yet because then Sunday afternoon, Sweet Paws at Riverwalk Brewery will be doing the Pride Pottery, Pawtry, and I believe there will be a dog kiss booth, and we have a picture of last year. So will there also be dog kisses this year?
I believe so.
If you're around my dog, there's always dog kisses.
They're free, I bet.
So really, Riverwalk and Sweet Paws have been doing this event for much longer than we have been involved in the Pride community in Newburyport. I believe this is like their 8th year. They have it down pat. So really, our involvement is just helping to share the event and having a table there for information about Newburyport Pride. And we're really, really grateful to the Sweet Paws team and the Riverwalk team for kind of allowing us to use that as a platform. So yeah, I guess it'll kind of be a surprise for us too.
I'm sure they're going to have, knowing Sweet Paws, who they're also going to be in the parade and also at the festival.
Yes.
So they're with us the whole weekend. I'm sure they're going to have adoptable dogs.
Yeah.
I encourage anyone who has the outdoor area at Riverwalk is dog friendly. So everyone that has well socialized dogs that wants to dress them up in all their pride rainbow fabulousness. I think they've had a dog fashion
Parade.
Pride fashion parade
Yes, they have.
/ contest.
Of
So
course they do.
So fun. I'm gonna have to bring my wife to that event because I've been trying to convince her we need a dog for a while. So
There you
there's
go.
some adoptable dogs out there. Maybe I can persuade her.
yeah,
It's
this
worth
is where
a
it's going to
try.
happen.
Yes, it's worth a try. She's probably listening to this, rolling her eyes so bad right now.
Well, it sounds like a magnificent kind of whole weekend of events, and I can only imagine the amount of time and work and love that you've all invested in it. So thank you for that, and thank you for your descriptions of it. Just as we finish for the day, what do you hope will be the takeaways for people who come to the Pride Festival this year?
Yeah, actually, so real quick before we transition, I just want to shout out 2 other events. So the Sweet Paws, our connection with Sweet Paws is run through our community liaison on our team. His name is Kevin Hudson. He's amazing. He was with us for the first year of Pride, so we're stoked to have him back this year. And he actually has 2 things that are coming up. So the window decorating contest will be returning downtown, and we have a
great.
number of businesses that will be participating in that. He's been putting in a lot of work to make sure that that Pride is all downtown and everything is going to be cute. And then the other thing is we thought that without the Peg Gallery at 1 Harris Street, we weren't going to be able to have our art gallery again this year. But the new manager of that location is now called the Chalk Gallery. Her name is Nina, and I just happened to meet her in passing last week, and she's so excited about the idea of an art gallery. We're going to try to pull it together. And I know it's a lot to try to pull together in a short window of time, but we're aiming for like a mid-June opening, maybe a little kind of earlier in June for that gallery. So information about that is actually going to be going out today. But if anyone's interested in having their art shown, we would love to hear from them. info@newburyportpride.com.
Absolutely. Well, that was a serendipitous encounter.
Yes.
Wasn't
Oh my
it?
gosh. We were
It's
like, it was
amazing.
meant to be. She just happened to walk into my office one day, and and my office is like the attic of City Hall. So like, it's not common that people just happen upon my office. So we were like, we have to make this happen. It just seemed too perfect.
No, that sounds like a great opportunity. For
Another great
artists.
connection is with a group called Queers and Beers. And we have an event on Saturday night, actually in Amesbury.
Okay.
But we are doing shuttles from Brown Square called called New Queer's Eve Pride Gala. And it's, so encourage people to start thinking now, because there'll be a booth there at Pride and at the event where people can share their New Queer's resolution. So their resolution for the month of
Excellent.
Pride.
Excellent.
And one of my resolutions since I started this has always been to have Pride reach well beyond June. And
Yeah.
so one of the things we're doing this year is, it's called Queer All Year, or Newburyport Pride Speaker Series. And thanks to our incredibly generous sponsors, we're planning to have one event a month throughout the calendar year, if possible. And our first one is coming up June 21st with an author, Kim Topping, who just published a new book called Generation Queer about young LGBTQ plus activists. And they will be presenting their book in conversation with a local community member at Jabberwocky on June 21st.
terrific.
So we're super excited about that.
You're already fulfilling your resolution. I mean, what a
Isn't she?
role model.
Oh my gosh. I just want to circle back real quick to the Saturday night New Queer's Eve. So with that being the 31st and rolling into June 1st, that's going to be a really celebratory, very uplifting kind of party style event over at Bear Wolf Brewing in Amesbury. Madam Zapple will of course be there, and I'm really excited that she'll be joined by Rhea Sunshine, who's another favorite performer of mine, as well as a fantastic DJ. There's going to be food, there's going to be all the great stuff you can get from Bear Wolf, and just kind of a great community vibe. And we'll be dropping a ball at midnight, as you do on Eves. But just the shuttle, so we have brought on a shuttle that will be running from Brown Square to Bear Wolf and back throughout the
great.
evening, just to encourage safe driving. It's really important to
Absolutely.
us that if we're going to have an event outside of the community, we're offering a safe way to get to it. So that will be running periodically throughout the evening, and will be totally free for anybody who wants to utilize it.
Well, it seems to me you've thought of everything and then some. So well done.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I haven't asked you about that you wanted to add before we finish?
Well, one thing I would add is that volunteers are still needed.
Okay.
So if you're going to our website to check out events like more about the New Queer's Eve or more about the kickoff party, also click on that volunteer tab, fill out a form. There's, as you've mentioned, there's plenty of events to go around,
Yeah.
so you can volunteer for some and then enjoy others as participants. So just
Absolutely.
encourage people to do that.
Yeah, I think that, well, I know we've talked a lot about this, about the work that goes into Pride from the Pride team that works on it all year. Really, those hands-on folks over the course of the Pride weekend are what make it happen. I mean, volunteers for the parade are so critical. I mean, the work that goes into it in advance wouldn't be able to be accomplished without the hands of those volunteers. So we're really looking for some more folks to fill that out.
Yeah.
And we're really grateful for the Wolf Club again
Yes,
this year
yes.
partnering with us. They've been with us from the beginning.
Yeah.
They're amazing partners who are there just to keep an eye on safety and
Safety
they're
and support. Yeah.
Great. Well, that sounds wonderful. And the website for anybody who wants to learn about the events and or opportunities to volunteer is easy to remember. It's newburyportpride.com. There
No
you
way!
go. What a surprise.
Yes.
Well, Tarah and Holly, thank you both so much for everything you do for our community, and the energy and the time and the passion and the enthusiasm. You're both very enthusiastic people. You sell it. And just thank you also for taking time to visit the morning show to tell us about
Thank
this
you for
exciting
having us.
event.
Yeah, thank you for
Oh, it's
having
been
us. This
my
is one of my
pleasure.
favorite parts of leading up to Pride, is getting to
Oh,
connect with you and get excited with you. Yeah, I
That
love
makes
it.
me feel really good. Thank you both so much. And once again, let's invoke the power of the weather gods and goddesses.
Ooh, fingers
Looking at you. Make it happen. That's it for today, everybody. Please join us again next Thursday at 9 for the morning show. Until then, everybody, be well.